Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Massa Tutorials. We see where mathematical literacy begins. All right, so today I was just going through my topics or my strands for the WASI 2026. Then I was checking some topics which, let's say, really we see them, we don't normally see them in the WASI. It's been quite long time since we saw some questions or some topics inside the WASI. So I intended to come and treat it on my channel to help our dear candidates prepare massively, vigorously towards the exams. So here, that's core mathematics I'm dealing with. So you can see roadmap to WASI 2026. Now we are coming to see the computations of logarithms. And what we are trying to say is we'll be computing logarithms using our calculator, and also we'll be solving as well. Now, using logarithms and anti-logarithms to evaluate expressions. So we'll be giving you an expressions and we'll tell you to what? Use calculators together with your brain to solve the question. So we have an example here. It says use logarithms to evaluate 983,600 times 0.000419 all on 38.11. So this is a very nice question. And we have to use what? Logarithm to evaluate that. We are not doing it like the way we are solving fractions, that's decimal fractions. But this time around, we want to evaluate using logarithms. And we can evaluate that using logarithms. Now, if you have a number in logarithm, don't forget logarithm or log 10 is a number. It's a number, so don't forget. So if you have a number in logarithm, precisely a decimal number, let's see, 38.323. Now this is in log, it's already in log. We just compute a number and we had this 38.323. So now this 38, that's before the decimal point. Before the decimal point. The number you see is the whole number part, right? That's the whole number part. Then after the decimal point, we have what? The decimal number part. The decimal number part. But here I'm dealing with logarithm. Don't forget I said this number we see here is what? It's in logarithm. So the whole number part in logarithm, we will say that that's the characteristic. That's the characteristic. And the decimal number part is the mantissa. That's the mantissa. So take note of that. Because 38.323 is in log or is in logarithm, 38 before the decimal point. That's the whole number part. So in logarithm, we see that that's the characteristic. And after the decimal point, that's the decimal number part. In logarithm, we'll call it what? The mantissa. So these are the things we'll be seeing throughout our process of calculation. So let's see how best we can solve this question. Okay, so in solving this question, we need to draw a table. So solution. Let's draw a table in solving this question. And in solving this question, we need to draw a table. Now the table will indicate our number. which is before we convert it into logarithm. So that's the actual number before converting that into logarithm. So the actual number. Then we have the logarithm. So we have our logarithm here. So this is our actual value before converting it into logarithm. So here is a fraction. This is the numerator. That's the numerator. And this is the denominator. That's the denominator. Now, the numerator, we have 983,600. 983,600. Now, we need to write 983,600 in logarithm. First and foremost, you have to check whether you have any decimal points here. There is no decimal point. So if there is no decimal point here, then if you want to change it to logarithm, it's just straightforward by taking log to base 10. Okay, you take log to base 10 of the said number, that's 983,600. So you take log to base 10 of that. So you punch it on the calculator. So you press log of the number 983,600 and we'll get 5.99. So let me write it well. 5.9928. 5.9928. So that's the number. It is in logarithm. So we've changed this actual number to what? To logarithm. 5.9928. So we leave the decimals to what? 4 decimal places. So 4 decimal places. 4 dp. 4 dp. So the 5, we call it characteristic, and 9928 is the mantissa. So the whole number part and the decimal number part. That's the characteristic and the mantissa, because it is in what? Logarithm. Now, the same thing. Let's see this guy. It is 0.000419. So 0.000419. You see this? It contains what? A decimal point. Check the first one. There is no decimal point here. But this one contains what? A decimal point. So if it contains a decimal point, we need to change it to what? To standard form. We need to change 0.000419 to standard form. And by changing this to standard form, don't forget, if you are moving the decimal point from left to right, if you are moving it from left to right, then the power of 10 is negative. Likewise, if you are moving it from right to left, the power of 10 is positive. So here, we will be moving the decimal point from left to right. We have to make sure that this decimal point is between what? 4 and 1. It must be between 4 and 1. So let's check the movement. We move it 1, that's 1, 2, 3, then 4. So it must be here. So which means we get 4 point what? We get 4.19 times 10 exponent. We are moving it from left to right to exponent 4. And because we are moving it from left to right, we get what? Negative. And 4 means the movement, the number of times we moved what? The decimal point. So we have 4.19 times 10 exponent negative 4. Now, we want to write 0.000419 in logarithm. check the way we are writing it in logarithm. So first I said change because it contains decimal points. We change it to what? To standard form. And in standard form, we have 4.19 times 10 exponent negative 4. Now, the negative 4 becomes the characteristic. And this is how we write the negative 4. You don't write negative 4 like this. No. In logarithm, you don't write the negative 4 like that. Make sure that the negative 4 will be on top of the 4. Check here. This is negative 4, but the negative is affecting only 4. So in logarithm, the same thing, the same idea. If it is on 4, it means that it affects only what? Only 4. It is affecting only 4. You carry your cross alone. So the negative is affecting only 4. The same thing, negative is affecting 4. So here, the negative is affecting 4. Point. Now we need to get the mantissa. You change it to standard form. The exponent will be the characteristic. So negative 4. So the negative what will be on top of the 4, which means the negative is affecting only 4. Point. Let's get the mantissa. The mantissa says punch the log of 4.19. We need to punch the log of 4.19. So we have to punch the log of 4.19. So log of 4.19, then we obtain what? 0.6222. Don't forget we have points here. That's decimal point here. So we just write 6222. Right? 6222. Make sure your arrangement is in line nicely. It's in line nicely. Very, very simple. So this is what we have. If you don't understand, please play back the video for better understanding. It's very, very simple. So follow me as we solve it gradually. So now let's proceed. Let's proceed. It's very simple. Okay. So we are done with this first value. We are done with the second value. Now, in our actual numbers, they are multiplying. But we are dealing that, or we want that in logarithm. Or we are solving it in logarithm. Because they are multiplying, don't forget the laws of logarithm. It states log of xy, or let me deal with log x plus log y is equal to, if you don't write the base, it is in base what? 10. So if they have the same bases, or if they have the same base and they are adding, what do we do to the argument? We what? We add. So, sorry, we subtract. We multiply. So we have log of x base 10 plus log of y base 10. If they have the same base and they are adding, we multiply the argument. So we get log of x times y. So log x times y, then we bring our base 10. So the same thing. They are multiplying. They are multiplying here. For the actual numbers, they are multiplying. So in logarithm, since they are multiplying, we have to what? We have to add. Since they are multiplying, we need to what? We need to add. So here, let me deal with this guy. So that's the numerator. The numerator. We have to look for the answer for the numerator. Because they are multiplying, in logarithm, we need to what? We need to add. So let's add. We'll be adding here. So because they are multiplying, that's product. They are multiplying product. We need to add. So we are adding. Let's add. 8 plus 2, we get 10. So we write 0. Then we carry 1. 1 plus 2, 3 plus 2, we get 5. Right, 5. Let me clean the 1. 9 plus 2 is 11. Write 1, carry 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 6 is 16. Write 6. Write 6, carry 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus negative 4. 6 plus negative 4 is 2. Then we have this. So we get 2.6150. We get 2.615. 2.6150. All right, let me clean here. Let me clean here. It's not difficult at all. It's not difficult. Now, the reason behind me not punching it on the calculator is because when you punch 5.9928, then minus 4.622, you punch 5.9928 minus 4.622, then 2. This one, the calculator will take it as the negative is affecting the whole of the number here. The calculator will take it as what? The negative is affecting the whole of the number here. And mind you, you are dealing with logarithm. And logarithm is not saying that this negative has to affect the whole of the number. No. Logarithm is telling you that the negative has to what? Affect only 4. So if you are punching it on your calculator, you must be very mindful about it, how to punch it. You must be very, very mindful about it. There are some students, they will tell me that, oh, say, then I'll punch the mantiza. I'll add the mantiza, then do it. Okay, let's see whether we can add the mantiza and do it using the calculator. So we are adding the mantiza. So forget about the characteristic. So it will be 0.9928 plus 0.6222. So we get, that's 1 point, we get 1.615. You see, when you punch only the mantiza, that's the decimal part, you get this. Then you come and calculate the what? The characteristic. So 5 plus negative 4. 5 plus negative 4, we get what? 1. So you get 1. And your 1 is the same thing as 1.00. So when you add up, you get 2.615, which is the same thing. Don't forget you can include 0 to 2.6150. So better still, you can use the calculator for only the mantiza, which is the decimal part. When you are done, then you come and work the characteristic alongside with that. Then you get your answer. So it's very simple. Anything is very simple. Okay, so that's the numerator, which is the product, and in logarithm they said we should what? We should add. So let me close this one and let me do it like this. Okay, let me come to the denominator. So the denominator is only this guy. The denominator here. The denominator. The denominator, which is 38.11. 38.11. 38.11. All right. So we see the denominator. The denominator too, we have 38.11. And 38.11, this guy, for 38.11. When we move the decimal point to this place that's between 3 and 8, when you move that, we get that's 3.811. That's times what? 10 exponent what? 1. Times 10 exponent 1. Because this is greater than 1, we can just punch the log of that straightforward. Or better still, when you change it to standard form, you have 1. That's, don't forget, I said you write what? The exponent first. That's 1. And it is positive. So then forget about it. It is positive. So 1 point. Then you punch the whole of this on the calculator. and you get the same thing. That's log, you punch log of 3.811 and you get that's 0.58. So it's just 5810, 5810. Or better still, you can punch the whole of log of 38.11 and the answer will give you 1 point. The same thing, the answer will give you what? 1.5810 is the same thing. So whether you change it to standard form or you punch the whole of that. Mind you, 38.11 is greater than 1. Is greater than 1. That's the reason behind we punching the whole of that straightforward. Mind you, is greater than 1. That's the reason behind we punching the whole of 38.11 on the calculator, or we punching log of the whole number. Check this guy, 0.000419. It's less than 1. It's less than 1. So we can't punch the whole of this, or we can't take the log of the whole of the number here. No, we need to change it to standard form and write what? The exponent to be the characteristic. So write the exponent, which is -4, to be the characteristic. But here, this decimal number here is greater than 1. 38.11 is greater than 1. So we can punch the whole of log of that, or better still, we can change it to standard form. Then we do that. We will all get the same answer. All right, we go. So since it is greater than 1, we can just punch the whole of the decimal number on the calculator, or we can just punch the log of the whole of the decimal number. If it is less than 1, 0.00, if it is less than 1, then we must be very careful about the punching. We have to change it to standard form if and only if the number is less than 1. We change it to standard form, then the exponent becomes the characteristic. Then you punch the number you have over there. So when you punch it, that will be your mantissa. Take note of that. So here, log of 38.11 will get 1.5810. If there is any rounding, you have to do that. So rounding, we do that. Let me clean this line so that we can add very nicely. So let me clean this line. Okay. So we have this. All right. Very simple. We have this. We can okay, so we have the denominator, we have the numerator. So now I can bring my thing here. Okay, so because we are dealing with what? Division. And don't forget the laws of logarithm. Log of x on y, that's base 10, is equal to log of x minus log of y in base 10, base 10. So if they are dividing, what do? We subtract. If they are dividing, we subtract. So here, there is division here. So we write numerator divided by what? Denominator. And that's what? Into bracket division. That's into bracket division. So we subtract. So by subtracting, here we don't have any negative, positive. So we can just punch it on the calculator. 2.6150 minus 1.5810. and we'll get 1.034. We get 1.034. 1.034. So 1.034, let's say we can bring the zero. It's nothing. It's nothing. 1.034. Here we have our number in logarithm. We want to get our number back, or we want to get our actual number. So we are changing from logarithm to the actual number. And what do we have to do? We have to take the antilog of 1.0340. An antilog will send you back to your actual number. It's like we have virus and antivirus. If there is virus on your PC, your personal computer, and when you take the antivirus, it will reverse everything back to the normal status of the machine, like the way you bought it fresh. That's how this guy will do. So antilog of this logarithm, so anti-logarithm of 1.0340, it will refer us back to the actual number. So how do we punch antilog? You press shift, then the log. So when you press shift and the log, you see 10 exponent box on your screen. Press shift plus the log. So you see 10 exponent box on the screen. Then you insert 1.0340. Insert 1.0340. So you have 10.81, let's say 4. 10.814. So which means that if you want to confirm and see whether your answer is correct, punch the whole of this expression on the calculator and see whether you get 10.814. So let's see. 983,600 times 0.000419 all over 38.11. And we'll get 10.8141801. And indeed, it is what? It is correct. It is correct. It is correct. So we can say that therefore 983,600 times 0.000419 all over 38.11 is equal to 10.814. And that is correct. And that is correct. And that is correct. So wow. There are a lot of examples, and I'll give you like 5 examples for us to solve and for us to know how it goes. Okay, it's very simple. Mathematics is not a spectator of sports. So if you don't understand, please practice more questions. Practice more questions. You don't need to chew baba, because this one, we don't chew baba here. You need to understand. You need to understand the concept here. So make sure you understand and you solve more examples. And I believe you will love it. You love it. That's computations of logarithms. We are using logarithms and anti-logarithms to evaluate expressions. Roadmap to WASI 2026. It will be super and lovely. This time around, we are writing with the 5 West African countries, including Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Liberia, and Ghana. So this WASI, it will be very simple. Take your book seriously, and I believe you will sail through successfully. See you in our next video. Bye-bye.